Guys, I wanted to show you where I grew up as a child. They closed this place down due to hurricane that came through. It was the one that devastated the East Coast. A lot of these apartments were waterfront property. So I grew up here. And in one of my videos, I talked about protecting my childhood home. This was over a year ago, where I went into the astral realm in this place right here, where a huge bat-like creature came in. It came in, and I was in my dragon form, and then it started chasing me. And it was probably about the same size as me. I wasn't a huge dragon. I was an upright wing being dragon. And so as this bat being chased me, I left the astral realm, but then I thought that this particular being could wreak havoc in the astral realm in certain locations. So I came back in and I used what we call the dragon breath on this particular bat being and destroyed it. So if you want to check that video out, go to Protecting My Childhood Home, where I was in the astral realm. This particular place right here, this apartment building, also is where I met the Pleiadians. Now the Pleiadians were right above this place where I'm pointing the camera. They were right up there in the astral realm, and they were fighting. There was a battle going on, and this is the video where I told you I was in the astral realm, and I pointed this laser, and then they came down. They came down right over here, right over here. There used to be a fence right here, and they came down, and they parked there. What I consider like how we use like motorcycle vehicles. They was on a box type shape craft, uh, and they rode it the way that we ride motorcycles, and they walked over here. I was right here on this walkway right here where they met me, and they were a little bit pissed at me for disturbing them as this battle uh, was taking place. But I needed to speak to these Pleiadians. Um, so when I started speaking to the Pleiadians, my higher self stepped in, and this current version of myself was turned off. What we discussed, I do not know, because the higher self will not let me have that information. But it had to probably do something with what was going on in these current events that's taking place with the ascension process. Now I'm assuming it could be a lot of things that we discuss through the higher self, but I'm assuming that it had to be with these treaties that are going on right now, and how then the cabal was in control, and now the Luciferians are now stepping in with the blessings of the Orions. There are some good things taking place too. So this particular Trump is doing good and bad things, and I think they're doing good things to try to vibe and try to vibe with the higher frequencies to stay beside us as we reach ascension. Because when we reach ascension, fifth density. I think they want to be able to go into that type of frequency by doing good things, trying to undo a bit of the karma that they've done. But you got to understand that the video of me showing you Elon and Trump is beside Elon, and have allowed him to go in and undo. Um, I don't think that they're undoing their dirty work. I think what they're doing, they're trying to hide more of it, because the billionaires have always been with this brotherhood, and what they do in secrecy, mankind has no idea. So I try to expose a lot of this stuff that is going on. And in the beginning, I told you that Trump did, in his first term, he was helping the white hats, and he now are working with the black hats. And some of the black hats will do good things, but it's to benefit them. It's not to benefit humanity. It's to benefit their side. Uh, and of course, the Aryans are involved in this. The Nazi Aryans are involved in this, and they are an off-planet race that came here. Um, to pretty much mess with the Lemurians, and they took out the Lemurians, and then because of all of that karma that they done, they too got taken out as well. So, and that's how it goes. When you do things of that nature, you get karma, and the Atlanteans got their karma behind being brutes at that time. Um, and both sides had good and bad within them, but the Lemurians were Pleiadian, Lyran hybrids. They were from the angelic uh, human line, and they were doing peaceful things. They lived in a peaceful community, and that's how I try to keep the channel. I try to keep, because you guys are like my soul family. We've all been incarnating together to get this job done, and to continue to rise back up, and go return to where we actually came from. And I try to show you guys, because we have forgotten who we were over time. And through my own experiences, you guys can remember. You guys do have your own experience as well. And this is all our journey. We're doing this together. And, I love you guys. You guys always got my back. And I'm not going to let you guys down for nothing in the world. I'll die before that happens. I will never let you guys down. I will always be truthful. I will always, bring you guys information that you guys can understand and know, because this is a beautiful world that we all coexist in, and we're here together in this God-given universe. As we expand our conscious, we grow, we learn through these incarnational cycles. We must not look at any of these experiences as something negative. Look at them, because we're just too powerful. We're too powerful as spiritual beings to play the victimhood. Just learn as much as you can. Hold that love and compassion for everybody. Of course, we're going to have to expose some people, because people need to know. Because when we incarnate, we forget who we are, and a lot of us, we stay asleep. So our mission is to wake up as many people as we can, but allow people to grow and expand in their own way, and to go on their path. Not everybody's going to believe what's going on. Not everybody is going to want to take that path, and that's fine. They still have soul, and they are still on their own journey. So as long as we trust, love, and care for each other, and just keep doing what we're supposed to do here on earth, and continue to have that Christ conscious awakening, and be a part of that process, we are going to be fine. This is a beautiful world, and we will help return it to its original state. Gaia, love. So I love you guys. I honor you guys, and I will always respect you. Have a beautiful, wonderful Sunday.
When human civilization first pushed past the boundaries of the solar system, the question of whether or not mankind was alone in the universe had already been answered. Ruins uncovered on Mars and the discovery of a mass relay orbiting Pluto left little doubt that extraterrestrial civilizations were waiting to be discovered. It was a matter of when, and not if. For this reason, the first tentative expeditions launched by the Systems Alliance were of a military nature, and the consequences of this decision would echo across the ensuing decades. Even when humanity was granted a place on the Citadel Council, and it became a preeminent member of the interstellar community, its greatest impact on the galaxy was not made by its culture, its ideologies, or its sciences, but by the ships of the Systems Alliance Navy. As the primary interstellar service branch of the Systems Alliance Armed Forces, the Alliance Navy was one of the most important human institutions. It was tasked with protecting Systems Alliance colonies, space stations, mass relays, and the various transit routes linking them together. As the Navy grew in strength, it was increasingly able to project force outside Alliance territory, engage in forward peacetime deployments, and rapidly respond to regional crises. During what would become a tumultuous time in galactic history, the Navy was a significant element of the Systems Alliance foreign and military policy. The structure of the Alliance Navy included numerous component services and independent branches, yet its most significant operating forces were organized under the command of several numbered fleets. Each of these fleets consisted of various classes of corvettes, frigates, destroyers, and cruisers, responsible for escorting the far larger dreadnoughts and carriers that formed the centerpieces of these task forces. As a signatory of the Citadel Council, and by extension the Treaty of Phyrexian, the Alliance Navy was limited in the number of dreadnoughts that could be constructed. Peacekeeping across Council space was the chief duty of the Turian hierarchy, and only one Systems Alliance dreadnought was permitted for every 5 operated by the Turians. This was later extended to a 5-to-3 ratio, when mankind was granted a seat on the Citadel Council. To make up for this imbalance, however, the Systems Alliance pioneered the use of fleet carriers, a distinctly human design. By replacing the mass accelerator cannons found aboard most dreadnoughts with extensive hangars, the fleets of the Alliance Navy were able to operate many more larger ships compared to their similarly restricted rivals. At its height in 2186, the Systems Alliance Navy was operating 9 dreadnoughts, a mere fraction of the number utilized by the Turian hierarchy or Asari republics, but many thousands of smaller ship types. The 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th fleets were stationed in the Arcturus system, home of the political and military headquarters of the Systems Alliance. The 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th fleets were based at Earth, Terra Nova, Eden Prime, and Ontarom, respectively, although these latter deployments could periodically change. Each fleet was subdivided into numerous flotillas, which were periodically deployed across the galaxy as required. Of the many sub-branches within the Alliance Navy, the 2 largest and most prominent were the Fleet Air Arm and the Alliance Marine Corps. Both were specialized services responsible for operating the Navy's fighter squadrons and providing ground-based expeditionary operations, respectively. As dictated by tradition and its distinguished role within the Alliance Navy, the Marine Corps was granted the distinction of several unique ranks and honorifics. As part of the Interplanetary Combatives Training, or ICT program, members of the Alliance Navy, alongside their counterparts from terrestrial Earth militaries, were eligible to undergo specialized leadership and combat training. Based in Villa Militar in Rio de Janeiro, candidates trained in jetpack flight, combat driving, linguistics, and frontline trauma care for human and alien biology. ICT qualification enabled a graduate to include a vocational code of N indicating expertise in special operations, followed by a number of 1 through 7, representing their level of proficiency. Both the ICT program and wider Alliance Navy doctrine gained significant renown across the other Citadel races for their innovative techniques and technology. In contrast to the other great military powers of the galaxy, namely the Krogan clans and Turian hierarchy, the system's alliance prefers to avoid grinding wars of attrition in favor of a kind of leapfrogging strategy. Enemy strongpoints are rarely assaulted directly, but instead bypassed in favor of enemy supply lines, logistical centers, and headquarters units. Once isolated, enemy pockets can be left to wither on the vine or be engaged at an opportune time. This doctrine is a result of the Alliance's comparatively small army, with only roughly 3% of humans volunteering for military service. To make up for this smaller manpower pool, Alliance forces utilize virtual intelligence, drones, artillery, electronic warfare, and armored units as force multipliers. Combined with an emphasis on mobility and individual initiative, the Alliance Navy has often routed far larger enemy forces. Alliance mission-type tactics and strategic doctrine were a response born from the service's earliest major conflict, the First Contact War of 2157, while ultimately a small-scale and relatively bloodless incident resulting from mutual ignorance. It had an enormous effect on the Alliance Navy, as well as outside opinion on human civilization. Unlikely to have been able to prevail against the Turian hierarchy, had the conflict escalated to a full-scale war, the performance of the Alliance Navy, first in its defense of the Shanxi colony, and later in its subsequent liberation, nevertheless greatly impressed the other civilizations of the Citadel Council. Even the Turians regarded the Alliance's capabilities favorably, and the mutual respect that developed here helped ease the tensions left over from the conflict. The Alliance Navy remained at the forefront of humanity's efforts to become a true interstellar civilization. It gained further renown in 2176 after defending the human colony of Elysium from opportunistic pirates and mercenaries in a battle that would come to be known as the Skillian Blitz. Subsequent actions in Thashaka and Torfan would further cement humanity's military prowess. It was during the Battle of the Citadel, however, that the Alliance Navy earned perhaps its greatest victory. An unexpected attack on the station by a fleet of Geth warships led by the Reaper dreadnought Sovereign nearly overwhelmed the Citadel fleets. However, with the intervention of Commander Shepard, the first human Spectre agent, the Alliance 5th Fleet arrived at the decisive moment, shattering the Geth formations and Sovereign itself. The role played by the Alliance Navy in the battle was instrumental in the decision to grant humanity a role on the Citadel Council. Together with the Turian hierarchy, Alliance fleets would be utilized by the Citadel in a galactic peacekeeping role. In just a few decades, the system's alliance had achieved a place of prominence within galactic civilization that others had not accomplished in centuries or millennia. Despite its revolutionary designs and innovative doctrine, the Alliance Navy proved no more capable of resisting the advance of the Reapers during their full-scale invasion of 2186. In battles fought across the solar system and Alliance space, every major numbered fleet suffered significant losses, with some wiped out entirely as effective combat elements. Under the leadership of Admiral Hackett, Alliance forces retreated to various rendezvous points across Citadel space, while Commander Shepard began marshalling galactic resources for a counterattack. During a single decisive engagement, the Alliance Navy was joined by its counterparts from every major interstellar military, fighting the Reapers in orbit of Earth. The outcome of that apocalyptic battle has been lost in the cataclysmic events of the era. All that can be said with some degree of certainty is that the fleet actions in orbit of Earth allowed a major landing of troops onto the surface. Humanity was seen as many things during its brief tenure on the galactic stage: a powerful force for peace, or unrestrained, dangerous upstarts. In many ways, it was both. Yet, whatever future mankind may have won or lost for itself in orbit of Earth, it was paid for in blood by the ships, sailors, and marines of the system's Alliance Navy.
The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, and organizations of alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.
I'm Commander Shepard, and I have no strong opinions regarding the Template Institute one way or the other.